Okay, class. So, welcome back to our English for academic and professional purpose nga thorough discussion. We are now on Module 1, Lesson 5. So, we will be talking about thesis statement of an academic text. So, thesis statement na ta sa isa ka academic text. So, what I need to know, please read this one. What I know. So, this is background knowledge if kabalo na ba mo unsa ni siyang thesis statement. So, write true if the statement supports the principle of thesis statement, write false if otherwise wala. In your activity notebook na siya isulat, answers right away, no need to copy the question, answer na dito. And then what is it? So, we're going to discuss this one. So, what is a thesis statement? So, we need to consider what is a thesis statement. Unsa ba ning thesis statement, class? Ang thesis statement is a statement that summarizes your topic and declares your position on it. So, that is a thesis statement. So, summary na siya about sa topic and nag-declare siya kung asa ka nga position pabor. On which position you are onto. That is a thesis statement. Summarizes the topic and declares the position kung asa ka pabor. That is a thesis statement. Thesis statement is also tells the reader how you will interpret the significance of the subject matter under discussion. So that is a thesis statement. Ang thesis statement, isa po ni siya sa pamaagi for you to guide the readers on the things that you're going to discuss in your body. It could be a topic sentence but not all the time. Pwede siya may mong topic sentence but not all the time. Thesis statement is a statement that will lead sa imong readers on what are the things that you're going to discuss. So, mao ni siya nga statement ang maghatag og guide sa imong readers kung unsay sulod sa body sa imong gisulat. So, yes, indeed, it is a roadmap for the paper. In other words, it tells the reader what to expect from the rest of the paper. So, kini siya nga statement ang magaingon, class, kung unsa gyoy sulod anang imong gisulat. So, pagbasa pa lang sa thesis statement, kabalo na kag unsay iyang i-discuss dato siyang body o conclusion. If you're going to read the thesis statement and dili ka moangay, it's up to you to continue or not. Because you already know what's inside. Unsay sulod sa iyang statement or sa iyang essay, sa iyang story or whatsoever, kabalo na ka because you read that one because nabasa na nimo, makita man na siya sa thesis statement. So, thesis statement is the central idea of a multi-paragraph composition. Yes, the central idea. It's because bao man ni siya ang gaingon kung unsa ang sulod sa imong gisuwat, ang thesis statement. It is one sentence summary that guides, controls, and unifies ideas when writing a paper. Usually, ang thesis statement, dili gina siya statements. Thesis statement, meaning it's a one-sentence summary that guides, controls, and unifies ideas when writing a paper. So, mauna nga statement ang inyong pangitaon for you to know what's inside the selection. Makabalo kag unsay naa sa sulod kung mabasa nimo ang thesis statement. In simple terms, all other ideas present and easy revolve around the thesis statement. So kung nakuha na nimo ang thesis statement, probably kabalo na ka unsay sulod. Then kana mga details nga ihatag diya sa imong gibasa, gi-base na siya dadto sa thesis statement. Because it focuses your ideas into one or two sentences. Pero usually, thesis statement is just a one sentence. It should present the topic of your paper and also make a comment about your position in relation to the topic. It is the way to present the topic. Pamaagi sa pagpakita nimo kung unsay sulod sa imong papel o nag-comment ka kung asa ka nga side pabor. That is a thesis statement. Your thesis statement should tell your reader what the paper is about and also help guide your writing and keep your argument focused. So, mao po ni siyang ginagamit nga limiter ang thesis statement. So, siya po ang galimit kung unsalay imo isulat sa imo ang selection or sa imong academic text. So, thesis statement is very crucial. You need to know what is a thesis statement because without a thesis statement, you are borderless sa imong pagsulat. So, wala kay border sa pagsulat. It means your topic is getting broader and broader kaya wa man nimo gilimit. So, thesis statement is the limiter. Gilimit nimo kung unsa lay imong scope nga isulat sa imong selection. That is the function of the thesis statement. So locating explicit and implicit thesis statements. In academic writing, the thesis is often explicit. Explicit yun na siya ang thesis statement. It is included as a sentence as part of the text. It might be near the beginning of the work, but not always. Some types of academic writing leave the thesis under the conclusion. Thesis statement cannot be found in the conclusion. Why? It's because thesis statement, again, it is the statement that summarizes your topic and declares your position, pero dili sad siya pwede nga sa conclusion siya makita. It's because, again, it is the central idea of a multiple paragraph composition. It is a one sentence that summarize, the sentence summary that guides, controls, and unifies. So, dili siya pwede sa conclusion because kung nasa sa conclusion, how will you going to guide your readers nga naa naman siya sa katapusan na basa? So, usually, naana siya sa in-between sa introduction o sa body. Or naas mismo sa introduction or sa body or in-between ana. Dili siya pwede nga dadto sa conclusion. It's because how are you going to guide your readers kung naana siya sa katapusan nakita? Di ba ang tour guide usually gauna na siya? Sunod dayon ang mga gina-guide. So this is a thesis statement ingana. Ang thesis statement is the tour guide. Gina-guide niya yung mga readers kung unsa ang topic nga gina-discuss sa academic text or sa selection nga gi-provide. Next is journalism and reporting also rely on explicit thesis statements that appear very early in the piece, the first paragraph or even the first sentence. Muna na siyang giingon nga, it could be the first paragraph or it could be the first sentence, basta anywhere in introduction or the early body. Dili siya pwede sa conclusion, pero pwede kaayos siya sa introduction. It's because it is the guide. Diba? Wala may tour guide nga gapaulahi. Usually, ang tour guide gauna gina siya kay i-guide niya ang mga tourist. Diba? Ano man yun ang principle. So, inga na ang thesis statement. Ang thesis statement is the tour guide. Then, kamo mga readers ang tourist nga gina-guide kung unsay sulod sa selection nga gi-provide. Next is works of literature, on the other hand, usually do not contain a specific sentence that sum up the core concept of writing. However, readers should finish the piece with good understanding of what the work was trying to convey. Yes, it could be. This is what we called implicit thesis statement. The primary point of the reading is conveyed indirectly in multiple locations through the work. Explicit is katong klaro. Klaro ang explicit kipakita. Like for this, explicit katong makita sa introduction usually. Pero doon na sa gitawag na itong implicit thesis statement na naka-merge siya all together in the three parts. So, dili ni mo siya makita, malocate kung asa siya nga part sa introduction, siya sa body or sa conclusion because implicit thesis statement is you're going to get this statement after you read all the paragraphs in the selection or in the text. So, basahon una itong tanan. Basahon sa tanan ang imong angay basahon ay nimo makuha ang thesis statement. So that is implicit thesis statement. Explicit thesis statement given siya kung asa siya makita sa introduction ba. Usually sa introduction or the first sentence or the topic sentence. Usually naapod explicit thesis statement nga topic sentence could be the thesis statement but not all the time. Pwede na siya. So muna na siya pag implicit thesis statement, it is also referred as the theme or tema sa imong gisuwat. However, academic writing sometimes relies on implicit thesis statement as well. Academic writing is more on implicit thesis statement because academic writing is educational. So for you to learn, you need to analyze. You need to understand what was written. So sabto ni mo ayo. Pag ga-comprehend gani ka, usually it is more on implicit. So usually ang academic text, ang iyang thesis statement is implicit. Kailangan sa nimo basahon, aya nimo masabtan. Or ayan mo magets kung asa ang thesis statement. 4 questions to ask when formulating a thesis statement. So this is the guide for you on how to make a thesis statement. Number 1, where is your thesis statement? So asa na imo ibutang ang thesis statement? So thesis statement usually early in your essay. Usually in the introduction. Pero I saw some articles nga early introduction sa body nila ibutang because they want to give a great introduction, bongga kaking introduction sa body nila ibutang ang thesis statement. But usually in the introduction. Introduction or no longer essay in the second paragraph. Diba? Pwede. Wala akong giingon. Thesis statement, pwede siya sa introduction, the first sentence or first paragraph, or pwede po siya sa second paragraph. No longer in the second paragraph, pero pwede siya first sentence sa second paragraph. Kay I saw a few works ngayon ni. Second paragraph ang ilang thesis statement. So pwede rapod. But not longer after the first sentence of the second paragraph. Di na sa di nga na kalayo. Kaya usually guidance manggod ni. Guide manggod ang thesis statement. So dili pwedeng dugay kay siya introduce. In order to establish your position and give reader a sense of direction. That's why it's very important nga ang thesis statement naa sa unahan. Para na sa tour guide. Kailangan maguna ang tour guide. Dili pwedeng nga maguna ang tourist aya ang tour guide. Mawala ang tourist kung maguna ang turista, aya ang tour guide mag-guide sa ila, mawala ang tourist, di ba? Tips on how to write a successful thesis statement. Number 1, avoid burying a great thesis statement in the middle of a paragraph or late in the... Ayaw ilubong. Para sa akong giingon, kung iliwit ang tour guide, nag-una ang tourist mayagaw, wala imong mga turista, kaya nag-iliwit man ka, nag-una man imong turista. So, fired ka na right away. Next is, be as clear as specific as possible. Avoid big words. Be specific. Dapat direct to the point. Muna pinaganahan na to. Straight to the point, direct to the point, brief and concise. That is a thesis statement. Brief and concise, straight to the point, direct to the point. Tuwa na straight to the point and direct to the point. Kaya may straight usahay pero dili direkta. Straight and direct. Number 3, indicate the point of your paper but avoid sentence structures like, the point of my paper is, remember that you are already in grade 11 and grade 12. Basically, you are in senior high school. Please do not use this format anymore. The point of my paper is that. Please refrain using this. Be creative. We already discussed on how to make a creative statement. Number 1, first thing is by asking a question. Asking a question related to the topic. Number 2, give a quote or quotation or quote a statement that is somehow related to this selection. And number 3, this is the very, very important. You going to write details in a creative aspect. Show a picture and describe it. Kini siya nga butang somehow mo relate sa imuang selection. So ana, basic na siya nga 3 effective introduction. So ayon na ni mga the point of my paper is kay muratag elementary ana nga style. That this is just for the lower years but you are already in the senior high school so mag-level up pod ta sa tong standards. Number 2, the second technique in formulating a thesis statement is your thesis statement specific? So, kailangan siya specific. It should be as clear and specific as possible. Walay daghan char. Di pwedeng char dire. Kung char yung may balaan, dili na pwede sa thesis statement. You will continue to refine your thesis statement as you revise your argument. So, i-revise niyo yung argument. Kung dili gani specific yung argument, then revise it. How to formulate a specific thesis statement. This is the tips. Are there two large statements connected loosely by an coordinating conjunction? So naabay naka-connect nga mga coordinating conjunction sa imong thesis statement, sa imong statements. Would a subordinating conjunction help to signal a relationship between the two sentences? Or do the two statements imply a fuzzy, unfocused thesis? Fuzzy is gubot. If so, settle on one single focus and then proceed with further development. So, refrain from using coordinating conjunctions in writing a thesis statement. Subordinating conjunction, also refrain from using this, and refrain from fuzzy, unfocused thesis. Refrain the following and you will get a specific thesis statement. Number 3, is your thesis statement too general? Balik ta diri sa number 2. Pag naganing tulo, then your thesis statement is already general, too general. So you have to remove this and create a single focus for you to have a specific thesis statement and for you to solve this problem. Para ma-solve nini mga problem. Like for example, this is the original thesis. There are serious objections to today's horror movies. Revised thesis. This is the original. You cannot copy the original, but you have to paraphrase the original. The revised is you were given 3 out of the general. Horror movies could be a general one. Daghan man kay klase sa horror movies. Na may horror movies nga kurat-kurat halos, horror mga hadlok-hadlok. Doon na po'y horror movies nga patay-patay, violence daghan. So you have to be specific kung unsa nga category sa horror. Like for this, because modern cinematic techniques have allowed filmmakers to get more graphic, horror flicks have desensitized young American viewers to violence. So, ang gi-cover dia is violence. Ang horror nga gi-define diri sa iyang revised thesis number 1 is violence. In number 2, the pornographic violence in bloodbath slasher movie degrades both men and women. So, the violence in blood. The second one is more specific, which is the pornographic violence. Mas specific na siya. Kaganiya kay violence man, which is specific na ang violence daan. More specific, which is pornographic violence. The third one is today's slasher movies fail to deliver the emotional catharsis that 1930s horror films did. So, the focus for this third sa horror movies is the emotional catharsis. Diba? It's very specific. There's a certain idea or argument na gusto nilang i-present to the viewers. This is the argument. Kaya na akong i-highlight is the argument. The first argument presented here is violence. The second argument here is the pornographic violence. And the third argument here is the emotional catharsis. Di ba klaro kayo? This is how thesis statement should be. And it will lead to the number 4 question. Is your thesis statement clear? How to get a clear thesis statement? By just removing this. Removing this and following this. Example this. Following this. Kanang tulo. Remove this tree. Remove this tree. And follow this tree. And follow this tree for you to get a clear thesis statement. It is no exception. Dili exempted ang thesis statement para dili ka ka-deliver o clear statement. It should be clear. Kaya kay na siya nga ma-deliver nimo nga clear ang imong thesis statement. How to be clear in your thesis statement? Avoid vague words such as interesting, negative, exciting, unusual. Please do not use these words. Be specific. Do not use these words. Avoid this one. And I forgot. Always avoid jargon unless you are confident your audience will be familiar with. Nga wala siya gibutang sa bullet, it's because you are allowed to use jargons. But in your case, as a student, senior high school students, just refrain from using jargons because I know some of you are not familiar on how to use these jargons or how your readers will receive these jargons nga inyong ginagamit. So as much as possible, be specific with your words. And kung kalisod mo sa inyong choice of words, just use the easy words or the general term, not the general terms, the basic terms ng inyong nahibalan, which is specific for you to deliver your thesis statement very clear. Kaya kung this is the problem, if you have limited vocabulary, that is very, very challenging on your part. So it is advised that you have a broad or wide range of vocabulary for you to write thesis statement in I will not say the easiest way, but you can formulate a thesis statement faster than the usual. So you need your vocabularies. Get your vocabulary notebook and today start writing those difficult words para dili na mo mag-struggle on what words that you're going to use. Because this is very important. Your vocabularies nga nahibalaan is very important for this. Number 3, actually number 2 siya. Pag-iibotang na natin number 3 kaya nag-discuss sa speakers. Avoid abstract words such as society, values, and culture. As much as possible, when you are writing thesis statement, do not use abstract words. Abstract words are words that cannot be dili nimo ma-specify. Pareha na society. You cannot specify what society is. Values. You don't have a specific clear meaning of values, society, or culture. Because kada tao, kada expert lain-lain ang ilang pagsabot ani nga mga words. So refrain using from abstract words. Para nang mga word nga love, mga hate, refrain from using those words because kada tao or kada field of specialization lain-lain ang ilang pagsabot ana nga mga words. These are the techniques on how you're going to write your thesis statement. So at least you have your guide on how to write your thesis statement. So read the examples given para mas masabtan ninyo. So we are on the post assessment. You write your answer in your notebook, read instructions carefully. Kay mag 30 minutes na ta sa tong video. So as much as possible, we will going to make this video 20 minutes maximum para dili mo ma-bored og tanaw. So again, based on what you have learned, you're going to select the best thesis statement ani, the most effective thesis statement, and write the letter of the answer in your activity notebook. So letter lang, wala na ikapihon dya, class. So additional activity if you wish, but it's not required. Dili na siya requirement, wish lang ninyong makatuon, pwede ra pod. Pero kung dili, no problem. The other requirement here is the reflection. So kindly write a reflection after the lesson in your activity notebook. Kay ako na siyang i-check. So I hope you learned something today, class. Medyo taas-taas atong discussion about thesis statement kay giabot taog almost 30 minutes. So I hope nga makatabang ni siyang video nga di mo maglibog about the lesson because this subject is very difficult, and I hope nga maka-guide ni sa inyo in answering your module. So patience lang tagamay, class, kay COVID pa man, pero laban lang ta up until the very end para mahuman nato ning school year through this learning delivery mode. So thank you so much for the patience, class, and laban lang ta. See you on the next video for the module 1 lesson 6, which is outlining. Hope to see you soon.